Hello team and welcome back to another Line War cast. This is your map today in a 4v4 between Alpha Team and Bravo Team. As always, on Alpha Team, Taranto in blue, HZ Rez in red, Leo Keck in orange, Laniaca in teal, and on Bravo Team, Harry in pink, Summer Winds in green, someone said that my nickname sucks in purple, and Procellist in black. You can see the top-down view, the distribution of the teams. There are 3 players on Alpha Team on the right-hand side, and then 1 player who is HZ Rez. I guess we're gonna call them H. We're gonna call them H this game. Could have gone with a lot of things. Gonna call Red H. This is a player on Alpha Team, of course, and then the Bravo Team players spawning to the right of H is Harry right here, or no, this is nickname. The purple and the pink is sometimes a little bit difficult to discern, and then there's Summer Winds in green, who went for this cross pick. Built this town and this port. Has a forward airport. This is actually Nickname's airport. My bad. I'm just messing it all up. And then pink, this is Harry right here. Harry on Bravo Team taking on Leo Keck from Alpha Team in orange. It's going to be tanks clearly for Harry, opening up with a very energy-focused build. This refinery in the water that Pink decided to pick in the picking phase, and then presumably helicopters out of the airport, and that is exactly what it is. Leo's trying to see if anything can get done with this orange infantry wave, and the answer is going to be no. Orange is going to have to drop back and then get ready to field 3 tanks and more tanks on the way for Pink. And the good thing for Leo, though, is that a teammate, Laniaca, is right here with a dock building missile boats, and then a very barracks heavy opener otherwise with an airport. And in the south, the last Alpha Team player going for 2 bombers at a time out of the airports. The double airport opener is Taranto. Did we get everyone? No, and then we got Procellist, the 4th player for Bravo Team. Going for that 4 factory SAM and artillery mix. And the first helicopter for black is on the way. So black and pink gonna go for a push against orange and teal in a lot of ways here on the right hand side of the map. And the tanks are going to try to go through the entrenchment. There's an opportunity for them to go around the entrenchment, but this will work just as well if the pink tanks can poke a hole through and then get on top of the producers, which is ultimately where where they will shine. And then on the left-hand side of the map, we could check the visions. It's a little bit difficult in a team game, but what we're going to see is that Nickname is going to drop 8 infantry right beside H's dock here. And H going for double sub-production, which can be very strong to control the water on the left-hand side of the map, but might make it a little bit more difficult to defend against the planes that Nickname has going, and then also this push on the bottom if purple decided to actually go for a more aggressive push, and green put some producers down here as well. We see that one of the barracks gets destroyed by these 3 tanks that did run by. It's sort of worth it. I think if pink loses all the tanks, it's a little bit less worth it, but there are more tanks on the way. And there's still only 1 refinery for pink, so maybe losing the tanks is actually decent. Because the units in Line War, they will heal over time, but they heal very slowly. And they need to be entirely out of combat. You can see like this artillery piece is healing because it's flashing with these little sparks on it. And you'll see the same with the tanks, but they have to be out of combat, and I believe not moving. This is a lot of infantry because teal opened up with these 4 barracks. So a steady stream from Laniaca helping out Leo here. But there are 3 helicopters so far for Bravo Team. First Sam is here for Leo. And then I suppose green does have 2 helicopters of their own, but a huge battle. A very important spot. If pink and black were to overwhelm here and take out orange, then the game will essentially be over, and then vice versa if teal and orange can take out pink. It's very difficult to win a game of Line War and team games when you're at a player disadvantage. Gotta love this music. The Line War soundtrack. 4 tanks will not do all that well if they're super surrounded by infantry. They are totally outnumbered. They're trying their best to pick off some of the artillery pieces, which is nice, and it resets the artillery count for orange. And infantry will shoot at helicopters. Small arms fire will do damage, and in big enough numbers, infantry is actually quite good at destroying helicopters. So we can see the effect of the landing was that the one dock for red was destroyed. The refinery for red is also going to be destroyed. These 3 strikers will be able to do enough to this refinery. There's no SAMs around it. The helicopters will get to shoot some rockets at the strikers, but they're not going to be able to do enough damage to stop the refinery from going down. And Summer Winds is a second dock on the way. And a power plant. 2 power plants, in fact, connected to this depot. There's an opportunity for Nickname and Summer Winds to share energy there with a pipeline. And the longer this game goes, the more likely I think it is that there will be energy sharing in the game. And Pink's still going for more tanks. There are 6 that have survived. I don't think anything went down here. And the big deal is that Blue is about to get involved in the game more fully. With the 4 bombers almost done, they can't quite reach up here. Their range will not go that far, but with an airstrip, whether built by Taranto or a teammate further up, the bombers would then be able to be in range. And a bomber swarm is very scary. Tons of team games we've seen the bombers super effective if one player masses them and can get value out of them. Nice pickup with the SAM. The SAM did get 1 helicopter, so in general the SAM did alright. And now we see that Harry is mixing in some SAMs as well. Makes a lot of sense, and is going to work out because of how many bombers there are. And sometimes the team is hard to, I forget that these bombers are definitely in range of everything that green has. They might even be able to destroy their refinery. Bombers cannot use a target command though. That is one of the things, one of the nuances of the bomber unit, is that you cannot do stuff like this. Click on a building and have the planes only attack that. So there are some producers now, these 4 buildings for green, which puts, I believe, H at a lot of risk in a pretty tough spot. The dig-in from red is decent, that will buy a lot of time. But this allows Bravo team to take this territory in the bottom left of the map. And that's a decent amount of eco. 6 bombers working on all of these targets. There's no missile boats over here for Bravo team, so until there are missile boats or enough SAMs, which unless these 2 factories started building SAMs for green and then parked the SAMs here, there's no real answer for those bombers. And this is a very interesting fight. There's an arty blob from Percellist, which can be very strong. Harry's getting the 2nd refinery at probably the best possible time, given how many tanks there are. And the more that these tanks are microed and they're forced to fall back off of 1 refinery, there's really not that much energy left for Pink. And Pink is also running helicopters. So at any moment we might see those black plumes of smoke come out from the tanks. And when that happens, they take 50% more damage over 5 seconds, I believe is the stat. Helicopter on helicopter combat here. And I believe so far Green's done a decent job to keep the helicopters alive. There are 3 in this forest, there's the 4th one landing here, and then this is the airstrip for Blue that will likely receive the bombers. Certainly once Alpha Team decides that the bombers are needed up at this part of the map, then I think there would be a transfer. But for now, they're getting a decent amount of value. The defensive line for green kind of actually works here because it makes the bombers attack the infantry instead of the buildings necessarily. Because as mentioned, you can't do a target command with the bombers. But absolute mayhem on the left-hand side of the map. Name of the game for red here, who's the only Alpha Team player, is to hold out as long as possible. And I think that's all HZ can really do, given they're entirely outnumbered. And so maybe red will drop back and use the more defensive lines. But either it's a tough position for red to be in. Orange is in a better position even though they lost their starting position. They're going to lose this town as well. But there's still more producers for green. And we can't really check ecos. We could check ecos and we'd have to do all the math for each of the players. But I'm not good at math. And it wouldn't be right anyway. But I think in general, top-down looks relatively even on how many territories both teams have. Ecos, I think it's anyone's guess if Alpha Team or Bravo Team is ahead. So far, I think that this side is pretty decent for Bravo Team because neither of the Bravo Team players are at risk of being knocked out of the game at the moment. And then, of course, there is an Alpha Team player who's in a lot of risk, has entirely lost this defensive line in the mountains. And now the two sub-pens, which are quite expensive. Nickname has enough strikers that they can kind of just take on a handful of SAMs without a full SAM dot from red. Then that's what we see, and Nickname keeps the SAM count low. There's these 4 helicopters for H on the airport, but there's no source of energy because, well, this green army is standing on it. These aircraft carriers for Nickname are in a wonderful spot. They're in the center of the map. And they're going to be able to support here. The good thing for Alpha Team is that there are a lot of SAMs for orange and blue that should be able to deflect all the purple strikers. But of course, every SAM that orange and blue has produced means one less artillery piece to fight this blob of arty. Or one less tank to take on all of these purple or pink tanks, whatever, close enough. This is a helicopter in the forest. The SAM is not just rocketing into the forest for fun. Then what's this move? This is a pretty nice move from Lanayka, sending the 3 helicopters up to support these infantry who are going to open up a second front. Maybe we'll keep pink at home a little bit. The big high-value target here would probably be this town. The refineries aren't in range. The refineries will be in range if the helicopters land here, which I suppose they will, so we'll see if Lanayka decides to focus on the refinery or just support those infantry. And SAMs don't do a lot of damage to the bombers. They do shoot their rockets, but they don't shoot their machine guns, which is the majority of their DPS. Still in enough numbers, and you know, if the bomber numbers are small and the SAM numbers are big enough, they do have the range with those rockets. And I think that blue's relatively lucky to only lose 2 bombers there. This third one is super damaged. And on the left-hand side, yeah, this is tough. This is very tough. Nickname's starting to eco here, which really just indicates that purple feels no threat on the left-hand side. And there's no reason for purple to feel a threat on the left-hand side. This is going very well for Bravo Team over there. And top down. Certainly more territory now for Bravo Team, who is knocking at the doorstep. Is that the term? Knocking on the door of Orange? At the doorstep of Orange's base. That's the thing I'm trying to say. And it's a good opening of this front by Lanayka, but it'll be tough if all of these teal infantry just die trying to jump on this town. Defender's advantage obviously in full force for pink, because these producers are so close. And there's also helicopter support. And still so far no real answer for this arty blob from Percellist. Only real ways to beat an arty blob is to have a bigger arty blob, to have enough tanks to clear that arty blob, an overwhelming amount of infantry that preferably jump on the artillery when most of them are not deployed and trying to move forward, or air assets. And there's these 2 full airstrips of blue bombers. Which, given how many SAMs there are with only these 5, the Blue Bombers should be able to do decent in that situation. And here's the power of the aircraft carrier. With the Strikers, Nickname just rotates these things down to the south and then picks off these refineries, and also going to pick off this airport from Blue. And you can see what Nickname's plan is to ultimately get a foothold on the right-hand side of the map by starting to land some of these infantry. It's a pretty close distance. Not extremely close, but close enough that this transport boat, it shouldn't take too long to actually get a sizable amount of purple units over there. And yeah, I think this is really all that H can do. A rocket won't help H, and there's certainly not enough money for Red to build a rocket. Red just has to hold out and wait for support from the rest of the team. The beep beep is Blue running low on energy now that Nickname destroyed that refinery. And H is entirely out of energy with no refinery left. Okay, so this is quicker. I suppose Nickname sees that there's all these infantry are getting attacked by the bombers. And maybe deciding that this is a safer place to land. Either way, it's not good news for Blue. Nickname should have a decent amount of money to be able to put a producer here and put buildings close to Blue's base. And I think although Alpha Team has pushed forward a little bit, which is nice, in general, there's still no risk from Bravo Team that they're going to lose anything super valuable. The tanks are doing one of the things that they do best, which is jump on SAMs, trying to clear out these SAMs, because Procellus does have a decent amount of helicopters. Harry also sitting on 3 helicopters. And another push from Lanayka, who I like this dock. This is a very interesting dock, but it's actually, I think, a very smart one, because these boats can destroy the refinery, and then also they can just park out here. They can park out super close to the airport, so anything taking off is going to immediately come under missile boat fire. And top down, even more territory for Bravo Team now. And you can see that there's a huge push on the bottom. I think that Summer Winds probably smells blood in the water and sending all of these producers over to the left-hand side, even in general, if Green was to lose in a decisive battle here, Green could just fall back and it's still fine. Nickname's got 3 aircraft carriers and a barracks producing commandos. I suspect that there will be an airstrip here for transport planes now at some point, or maybe even another airport for purple to do some commando drops. Or maybe the plan is just to use the transport boats to move the commandos. I think either make a lot of sense. And what a fight. Toronto has done a decent job with the bombers and is getting out before this blob of black SAMs show up. And just a few more pushes into like this location from the blue bombers would be super good. What must have happened with these 3 missile boats on the top is that there must have been enough black and pink helicopters that they just overwhelmed the missile boats. Because although missile boats are a wonderful counter to air units, still RTS, you still have to have, you know, a big enough army to take on the other units, even if you have a direct counter. And this is not good for blue. Very not good for blue. This is very good for Nickname. And I expect at any time that Nickname is going to put down some producers there. H is trying to launch the helicopters, I think is what we're hearing. And a very sneaky power plant in the mountains. Which might be what saves red for the moment. Because on the, like, the ground army, definitely green has more power. The only thing holding green back at the point, like this moment, is that the tanks are out of energy. But there's no SAMs with Green's army, which is the big deal. So the helicopters are going to be super effective here in the defense. And buy H at least a little bit more time. This huge battle of attrition at this part of the map, pretty much exactly the same spot that it has been. Very interesting part of the map. And top down, since we last checked, not much difference except for this foothold that Nickname's now gained. And the aircraft carrier is launching again. SAMs in the mountain, like, Nickname with the commandos will have seen all these SAMs, but Purple's just deciding that there's enough strikers here to at least take out a handful of the SAMs and then get home without losing too many planes. And the answer will be what? 2 planes? 2 planes went down, maybe 3? I can't count. Can you count? You saw it. This is good for Linaika in the north. Because I think this one missile boat's going to be able to destroy it. Certainly if not this one, then the next missile boat that's produced. Because in a 1v1, certainly the missile boat will take that on. And the beep beep beep, or this sound we're hearing is green disconnecting? This is Summer Winds disconnecting? What just happened? Oh, Summer Winds is out of the game. Okay. Well, this changes some things, because it's now going to make Nickname focus on defending against the left-hand side, and this is the response from Nickname to put down this factory right away, and then immediately get to this choke. Okay, very interesting. I wasn't really expecting that. I think in general this kind of gives Alpha Team more confidence. So, like, not the way that this push is going, but long term, now that there's, instead of red on the left hand side being a lot of trouble, red is actually going to be able to apply a lot of pressure to Nickname and maybe get a lot of economy back. Bombers and helicopters still doing fantastic in defense. There's no SAMs super close to the front, so the helicopters are going to be able to clear out so many of these artillery pieces. Helicopters, like, very strong units, and then part of it is because they're just able to hover over their target. They don't have to fly over the target, attack, and then do a big loop like the other types of planes. And it looks like Linaik has been able to secure the safety of these missile boats that are working on this airport. They're going to be able to destroy this factory as well. I think they can reach it. I think that's close enough. And in the bottom left, Red's going to build up an army and try to go for a push. I wonder if Nickname's going to try to do another landing here with some transport boats, or what the plan for Nickname will be long term. And there's no producers for Purple here. Maybe that makes a lot of sense. Maybe Nickname just thinks that building a producer down there just ends up stranding all those units. And top down, these are the territories that Summer Winds left behind. Good news for Bravo Team is that these trade routes are getting set up, so Nickname connecting with Prishelist's town and port. So that will be a very big eco boost for Bravo Team, and a good thing going on for Alpha Team is this rocket from Linaika. This rocket can get a lot of value because these buildings for Pink are very close. The base is scouted out, really. I'm not even gonna change to Linaika's view, but I'm very sure. Actually, we can do this. All right, let's do this. Yeah, the base is already scouted out for summer winds entirely, and then also at this choke point, and this rocket would be able to reach both places. And then obviously this army in this open field. And the question now is just whether green can hold on long enough. Blue's energy, nickname's still taking this out, which is really good. And making it so that blue doesn't really have enough to run all the bombers probably as regularly as blue would want to. But there's an opportunity for Alpha Team to start sharing some energy over here. But there's the SAMs are starting to inch closer to the front lines to protect all these artillery pieces. And the rocket is going to take a long time to build. Like, the launch pad isn't even complete yet. And this might be huge trouble for Orange. Lenaika doesn't necessarily have enough infantry to get on top of this base and do meaningful damage, and somehow this airport stayed alive. I don't understand how this happened. The tanks must have defended it. I saw the tanks trying to defend against the missile boats. I just assumed the missile boats would take out the airport first. Leo Keck in a lot of trouble. Leo.Ketch. Whatever is the preferred pronunciation. And nickname doesn't care. Doesn't care that the teammate had to leave the game. Is just actually pushing at this point. Here's that airport that's going to build transport planes. I bet you everything that these are going to be transport planes. Maybe not. maybe I take it back. The transport boat is doing the work the transport plane would need to do. Good thing for the transport plane in the center part of the map, though, is it would be able to land in places like this, and then also this refinery as well. Okay, so the rocket is being put on the stand at the moment. And now I think it's 7 minutes? Is it 7 minutes to build this? Maybe it's 7 minutes in total from putting down the launch pad. These are things I could know. I should know. I feel like I should know. In fact, we're gonna learn. Tooltip, long. And then can I... No, I can't get the production tab open, so I can read the tooltips for how long it takes. But it's gonna be way too long. This army from black is gonna destroy orange's base, and then it's just gonna get worse. The nice thing for green is that there's a natural fallback in the mountain range. But these strikers for nickname doing so much damage. Nickname will be very happy to just stay here in this defensive line and keep red contained on the left-hand side of the map. Now I think that's why you see the 3 aircraft carriers moving over with the strikers. And this is why I turn the tooltip off when doing casts. I think at this point you'd be very surprised to see Alpha Team win this game, given what's going on and given how this looks. But maybe there's still a chance. Orange certainly in a lot of trouble. This is the building that Leo has made further away from the front lines, because if you lose all your buildings in a game of line war, then you are knocked out of the game. But it's 3 aircraft carriers, so it's 9 full strikers, and there's just really not enough SAMs to do much against this many planes for purple. The bombers are going to try to get involved now. But it's really only 2 airstrips full of bombers. I don't even think the airstrips are full. And there's enough SAMs for black to take this all out. And how many factories did Parcells build? It was really only these... I guess there's 2 additional factories that were added after the first initial 4. And just that grinding army of a lot of artillery pieces. I gotta turn this off. There we go. Gonna freak me out. I'm gonna flip my desk. And as mentioned, there's really nothing that H can do. I suppose... Yeah, there's nothing H can do. The only thing that Red may have been able to do is build transport planes and then commandos and start to drop, you know, up here or on this little island here. Certainly, Red can't build a dock because Nickname has a full surround of the coast. Very tough position, I think, just in general, for Red to be in. And now, these pink tanks have found the rocket. It's nearly done, but it is not going to launch. Maybe with the missile boats here? But tanks destroy buildings pretty quick, as you can imagine. And the second helicopter is not going to be here in time. And can you even launch a rocket when it's in this condition now? I mean, look at what the piece that this arm is putting on this thing. It's like a triangle. Okay, it's no longer a triangle. Bravo team's taken the whole field. There's 2 things that happen now, I think, is that the front gets very wide for Alpha Team to try to defend. There's definitely enough Alpha Team units to, you know, fight along the entire front. And then this is a nice play from Teal, but will unfortunately not be enough. Missile boats finally destroyed that airport, which is good. The one unfortunate thing, if you're Alpha Team, is that... Or, yeah, Alpha Team, yeah. Harry only made helicopters. So when the helicopters fly off the airport, it's not like you destroy a bunch of planes when you destroy an airport, like all the other cases. And, that is it. Leaves H on the left-hand side. Cylindrical worlds will change this whole makeup, really, of how this game went down, because instead of H being on the left, kind of by themselves, H would have been right beside all the teammates on the right-hand side who could have helped out. But that's not the way Line War is right now. So it doesn't matter, but it's on the roadmap. So is AI. Still don't know when it's coming out, but we're very excited. And when I say we, I mean me. I'm sure a handful of other folks at least are very excited. Look how good these aircraft carriers look. Do you see this? Look at that radar on the top. Shout out Infenzia. These 2 aircraft carriers in the front joining together to become the super aircraft carrier. And the beep is just... Okay, someone disconnecting. GG. Well played all. I love 4v4s. There's a lot of action going on in the game. I likely missed quite a few interactions, different moments, but I try to zoom around as quick as I can without getting too hectic. Bravo team was ahead. Even when losing Teal. Even when losing Summer Winds. Or it wasn't Teal, it was Green. Losing Green. Bravo team ahead most of the time. A slight dip in the eco, which makes a lot of sense. But GG. Well played all. And I hope you enjoyed this Line War cast. Check out the channel if you'd like to see more casts. Thank you for the support. Liking and subbing, of course, helps the channel grow. Check out the Line War Discord if you want to learn more about the game, ask questions, find matches in the Looking for Matches channel. And otherwise, just hang out. Hope you have a wonderful night, day, evening, whatever it is for you, and wherever you are. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Peace.